Yeah, so I'll start over. This is good. This is like a beta version of my teaching it, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. So in order to understand how this works, the important thing, first principle is that the more precisely you find the right pattern of energy that's causing the problem, and you resolve that, the more effective your session or your FP is going to be. And you know that to be true because sometimes you work away at stuff and it's not happening because you're just not on the right energy, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
So, so there's two parts to this. One part is finding out what pattern of energy you need to find, okay? Like, for example, I've got at the moment some low back pain on the left side and goes into the left hip. And so I don't need to know the cause of the pain. I just need to know that there's an energy that needs to be removed that's at the cause of the pain, right? And the body generically knows what that is. But if I can tell it even more precisely exactly what that pattern of energy is, then if I tell the body, go take care of that, it can do it more effectively.
Okay.
So the basic concept is the principle of wave interference that comes from physics. And it's the principle that's used at the basis of a technology like a noise canceling headset. You ever tried one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put it on and it's got a microphone built into it. And it picks up the environmental noise and it electronically inverts that. And the way it inverts it, I'll show you exactly how it works. I have a little graph here. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
It's canceling here, right? Okay. So if you notice this blue arrow, it's pointing at this wave that goes up and then it comes back down and it comes back to the flat line, right? And if you notice the red line is exactly the same shape as the blue line, but it's shifted over halfway so that the start of the wave is in the middle of the other wave. You get that?
Yeah.
And so what happens is this causes the crest of the wave, which is the high part, and the low part is called the trough of the wave. It causes them to be exactly opposite their counterparts in the original wave. Okay. And that's the way the noise canceling headset works. It just shifts. So this is called the phase relationship. Phase means where's the starting point, okay, in time. So when it starts in time, if it started in time exactly in the same place as the beginning one, you'd have two waves like this, and they would add together, and you'd get a twice as high strength of the wave. That's called constructive interference. That's where they add together. And when they're shifted over like this, so the crest and trough are opposite each other, then the crest, if the crest was measured at say one unit of energy, and the trough is also 1 unit of energy, but it's a -1 because it's below the line, right? So the +1 and the -1 add together, and they create 0. And that 0 gives you this flat line. And the flat line means no sound. Now with the noise canceling headset, they leave the frequencies of speaking and music so you can watch a movie, have a conversation. Those don't get canceled out. But if you're on like a transatlantic flight or something, the high hiss and the low rumble noises of the plane, those get inverted and canceled out. And it's amazing. It's a great stress reducer. Yeah, you don't get stressed by all that noise. So this is the basic principle. It's called wave interference, comes from physics. And this is, wave interference is used, for example, in making lasers. A laser is where you have all of the waveforms of light lined up so they're all starting at the same point. So all the crests are together and they add together and create this huge wave of energy. Some lasers, of course, are so powerful that they can cut through metal. So this is a very well-established principle of physics. And there are many technologies that use this kind of thing. You get that?
Yeah.
Now, the thing about natural things in the world is that most of them are not as simple as this little graph. This graph is called a sine wave, okay? This is like taking a circle, okay, and spreading the circle out over time. It's very smooth, even wave. And when you spread it out over time like that, it makes this kind of wave with the crest and the trough. So if I was making a circle in this direction and I just spread it out over time, you could see that it would make a wave like that.
Yeah.
It's called a sine wave, S-I-N, sine wave.
Oh.
Now, there are other kinds of waves. There's square waves and rectangle waves, and triangle waves, and different kinds of waves. But for the moment, don't worry about any of that. We'll come to it later if we need to. So in natural phenomena, like, for example, a musical note, like if I play a note on the guitar, pluck the string of the guitar, it sounds like one sound. But it turns out that it's actually comprised of a whole stack of sounds. There's the basic vibration of the string. The whole string is vibrating. And then there's each half of the string is also vibrating. And each third of the string is also vibrating. Each fourth of the string is also vibrating. All the whole number divisions of the string, all the fractional divisions of the string, they're all vibrating when you pluck the string. Now, you can hear, if you pluck the guitar string in the middle of it, it has a kind of mellow, lower kind of tone. Yeah. If you pluck the string closer and closer to the place where it's attached to the body of the guitar, called the bridge, you know, as you get closer and closer, plucking it closer and closer to that, the sound gets brighter and brighter and brighter because you're putting more energy into the smaller portions of the vibration of the string, which have higher pitched sounds, higher sounds, okay? So every natural phenomena is made up of a fundamental frequency and its harmonics. These smaller portions of the vibrating string are called harmonics. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is true not only for musical instruments, but it's basically true for everything. Hello.
Hi.
Is it possible to come in and get something?
Are you okay today?
Yeah, I just need the trash picked up.
Trash?
Yeah, is it possible for you to come in? Oh, hi. There's a bag of trash in the extra little room there. And there's also this one. Don't have to get up. This is great.
Lazy.
This one here. And there's one in the bathroom. Thank you so much. Mucho gusto.
I love you and I are always in the bed together. Even though you're over there.
Yeah, yeah.
We're like always horizontal.
Yeah, yeah. Is it okay? Todo bien? Yeah. So anyway, should be fun. So natural phenomena, whatever they are almost always complex waveforms. That means they have a fundamental frequency and they have harmonics or, you know, detailed frequencies. Okay? And very complex waveforms can be analyzed with a system called Fourier analysis. Fourier was a French guy who, gracias. Hasta luego. Great. Yeah, they've softened up a bit on the for a time they wouldn't come into your room because of the COVID thing, you know.
Mm.
For actually some months it was like that, but recently they've softened up a little bit. So so natural phenomena have these complex waveforms, and this guy Fourier figured out how to analyze them and break them down into their component small waves that made them up. Okay. It's called Fourier transform or Fourier analysis. So when I took a class in musical acoustics at the Conservatory of Music, I learned about all of this stuff and also about intonation systems, the tuning of scales from throughout history and different cultures and different things like that. They're different. Like the ancient original scale that came from Greece is called the Pythagorean scale. It didn't have chords in it like we have in modern music now. Could only play melodies, no chords, because it was missing a particular harmonic, is what's called the fifth harmonic is what makes possible to have chords. So anyway, I learned all about all of that stuff, and I even invented a system of interchangeable fingerboards where you could slide one off from under the strings on the guitar, put another one on, and put the little fret wires where you put your finger down to make the string shorter, you know, put those in different places so you could play scales from different cultures, different periods of history, new experimental scales. I got 2 patents on it, raised about $1 million, 2 or 3 in capital, started producing fretted and fretless electric basses where you slide off the regular fretted fingerboard from the bass and slide on a pure stainless steel even and you play with that without frets, and it would sound more like a stand-up bass, like a bass viol.
Interesting.
Bass,
So you invented fretless and fret?
the combination of being able to change from one to another just in seconds.
Right. That's cool.
These professional bass players loved it. We sold a bunch of those and got some great endorsements and stuff. And I even had an article published in Rolling Stone magazine, and some famous musicians called me from different parts of the world to talk to me about it. One guy, even very famous banjo player, came by. I forget his name at the moment. Anyway, he came by in his bus that he traveled around in to give his concerts. So anyway, generated a little small piece of fame from that invention. And so then I was in production for a while, ran out of capital, had to close the business, took my first bankruptcy, had 3 of them.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, you know, apparently Walt Disney and JCPenney each had about 10. So it seems to take a while of trial and error and, you know, sort of screwing up a few times before you get it.
Yeah, no, I really meant that. Like it means you're trying things.
That's right. Yeah. It's a great law, actually. And when countries become independent and become democratic, one of the first things they do is hire international lawyers to come and write bankruptcy laws. Because when you take bankruptcy, you get your debt forgiven, you get to start over. Whereas the old traditional, more medieval laws, you get thrown in debtor's prison and you're there for the rest of your life, you know. So this is like you get to start over kind of law, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the basis of wave interference, and all natural phenomena have complex waveforms that are made up of a fundamental frequency and harmonics, okay? So now we're going to change gears here. And we're going to look at something else.
And the fundamental frequency, you said the fundamental frequency is the waveform, right? It's the frequency of the wave.
The frequency is how fast it's vibrating. So for example, if you play the note A on the piano, the one that's above the middle C, it vibrates at 440 cycles per second.
Okay,
That's every second, 440 times is going super fast, right?
okay,
You don't hear the individual waves, you hear the composite wave of the whole thing. But that 440 is just the fundamental frequency. That's the, if you look at this graph, can you see the graph?
yeah,
So from the beginning point of the upper graph to the end point, which is way over here, you can see that, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's one cycle of a waveform. And this is a complex waveform. The reason it's got all these different bumps in it is that there are lots of harmonics, okay, at different amplitudes. And the amplitudes of the harmonics are the major determining factor in what the sound of that instrument is like. So for example, let's see if I can show you this. Let's see, where's waveform optimizing? Okay, so for example, let me show you this. If we look over on the right here, you can see this? It
yes,
says clarinet up here and trumpet here. Now you'll notice that the starting point and ending points are the same in both cases, and they're
Yeah.
more or less the same shape, but they're also actually quite different. The clarinet has a lot more going on in here. This is more smooth here. Yeah.
yeah,
And so the harmonic content of the clarinet is different than the harmonic content of the trumpet. And that's the main thing that causes them to sound different, even if they're playing the same note.
okay,
And so it's the same thing. You pluck the string on the guitar, you play it on the piano, you play it on the clarinet, flute, oboe, whatever. Each one will sound different. And the main, there are other factors, but the main factor is how strong are the different harmonics of the tone, even if it's the same note.
okay,
Make sense?
yep,
So when you have something going on in your body and it's some complex waveform, let me redo the share here. Yeah. Okay. So this particular wave is the wave that's causing some hip and back pain for me. There's more than one. This is the second one I was working on. Okay. Now, what I want the body to do is I want the body to cancel out the energy of the cause of the pain. Now, I don't need to know what cause, it's a virus, it's an injury, or whatever it is, okay? I just want it to cancel out that energy that's being held there in the body. So what I wanted to do is, you can see down below here, there are two waves. There's the one with the wave going up, and then it comes down here, the blue line, it comes down here and it
uh-huh,
comes down. And then there's the exact mirror image of it. See, this goes up, this goes
Yeah.
down. Yeah. The mirror image is this black. I want the body to produce this black one, and I want it to start it right there, right at the beginning, in exactly the place where the other one starts, so that this and this cancel each other out. And this cancel each other out. And this cancel each other out. Okay. So that the whole waveform cancels itself out, just like a noise canceling headset works. But instead of canceling out noise, environmental noise, we want to cancel out the electromagnetic field noise, if you will, the electromagnetic field sound, or may not be a sound. It's a pattern of vibrating energy, vibrating consciousness that's causing the problem. Okay? And so the reason to do this is that this wave is a much more precise definition than just saying the cause of the hip and the back pain. Okay? It's like educating the body as to the details of what those words mean. Because the waveform itself is a much more precise description of the pattern of energy than can be made with language. And this is the nature of mathematics. It's very precise. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the way it works is very simple. We have these fields at the top, description of what it is to be canceled or strengthened, because we can either cancel or strengthen an energy. To cancel it, we do like on that first one where I showed the waves opposed to each other, and like the bottom one here where they're opposed to each other. If we were strengthening it, we would add them together and it would get the same waveform, but twice as strong. It would go up and just be stronger. Okay. So if we're canceling something, we put a verbal description of what we're canceling here. And this is the cause of the hip and the back pain. Okay. By the way, I woke up this morning with a headache and I did a waveform optimizing for the headache. And within about 10-15 minutes, it was gone.
Dang. Tell me what it says on there. It says canceling out the
Canceling out
energy of.
the energy of hyphen cause of hip and back pain 2. That's because this is the second one.
Okay, got it.
And the one under that is strengthening the energy of, and if we were strengthening something, we would put the description. So the verbal description is one thing, and that's what we've basically been using in IGO and FP. Okay? And we get varying results. And for example, Stacy's given some demo sessions to Rennie,
Uh-huh.
and some of them have taken like 2-3 hours. And that's just to do like one in technique, you know.
Mhm.
And it's been very, very slow with that. Well, Rennie's helping me reorganize the YouTube channel,
Mhm.
putting things in playlists and doing a bunch of stuff. She actually knows quite a lot about how to do that, and she's been doing a good job. And so I'm trading her to be able to participate in the trainings like for free in exchange for her work on the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
But she also needed some help because she was sort of struggling. So I gave her a session, this is maybe 2 weeks ago, and I used waveform optimizing. And in less than half an hour, I was able to resolve 5 different energies.
And now, did she have a noticeable result?
I believe she did. But I'm getting very noticeable results with all kinds of people. For example, last week there was a Ritish ate some snacks that were not.
You told me.
Yeah. And
he got definite results from it. So
oh, like immediate. Like
yeah.
I did it and I came back to the Zoom call with him, and he said the growling in my stomach just stopped. Like that. And he said, oh, there's still some discomfort. I said, okay, give me another minute. So I did another one and came back. He said, what did you do? It's gone.
Now what did you do the second time? Like, what did you write down at the top there for it?
Yeah, I wrote down whatever's causing this remaining discomfort.
Oh, okay. Simple.
Something like that, yeah. And the reason you can make it simple is that then you're going to go find the exact pattern of energy. Yeah? And that finding that pattern of energy is kind of like educating the body as to what the details of the waveform is actually like, so that it can do a really precise job of doing exactly what we have down here at the bottom.
Yeah, I understand.
And I'm really happy to be able to graph it like this now, because it really makes it clear.
Oh yeah, this is like really something.
Now, I'm going to send you a copy of the spreadsheet. And what you need to do is make a copy of it that you use kind of as a template.
Okay,
You always open that up and then save a fresh copy and do the work in the fresh copy and leave the template so you can revive it if you need to.
okay,
Right. So the way it works is the cells that are important are this one and these. Okay.
the
The
ones
reason-
that are highlighted there, okay,
This one and these. And I'll explain to you why.
okay,
So this one is the frequency. Now, it doesn't show frequency in the graph. It just shows the form of the wave, okay?
okay,
Because some frequencies are in the hundreds, others are in the thousands, others might be in the tens or hundreds of thousands. It could be anything, right? By the way, this is exactly how the QEO works. What the QEO does is it picks up the energy, not the environmental noise, it picks up the electromagnetic field noise of things like pathogens, toxins, allergens, things like that, and from the body. And it has filters and software where it can filter out just a particular portion of the energy it's reading from the body. Or you can put these ampules in it. You've seen me show you about the ampules, right?
I think so. I don't know.
I'll show you what I mean by ampules. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Let me do this. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay. Here we go. This is a picture of a box with the ampules in it. They're kind of fuzzy, but you can see it's a little glass vial.
No, I can't see it yet. It's still on the other page.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so now you can see it, huh?
Yeah,
And you can see there's a little glass vial here with a label on it and a yellow cap. And there
Yeah.
may be better pictures of it, I'm not sure, but anyway, I think you get the idea. Yeah, here's a better picture. That's a little better. Anyway, you get the idea. There's a small glass vial with a little yellow cap, and there's fluids inside, and they're imprinted with different patterns of energy. So there's ampules for viruses, bacteria, environmental toxins, allergens, etc. And then all the good stuff, all the healthy parts of the different organs and functions of the body. So you can put those in the QEO and either strengthen or weaken the energy using wave interference. The way the device works is it picks up whatever it picks up, and then it either amplifies it or it shifts it over 180 degrees. So it's the exact opposite.
Uh-huh. Very
and
cool.
amplifies that. Yeah. So basically, we're teaching the body how to be a QEO,
Mhm.
which is pretty incredible. Okay, so coming back to our diagram. Yeah. So the thing we want to do is to determine the frequency, because the body needs to know, okay, how fast is this thing moving, right? What note's being played, essentially. It's kind of like that. And so what we do is we muscle test for whether the frequency is in the hundreds of cycles per second or thousands of cycles per second, whatever. This one's in 100 cycles per second. You can see it's 442.4 cycles per second. And I go to point something, whatever tests, just to get the frequency as precise as is needed for the body to recognize it. You with me?
Yeah, so you muscle test, and usually it's going to be somewhere between 100 and thousands.
Yeah, it could be somewhere between 0 and tens or even hundreds of thousands, depending on what it is.
And then
Right.
when you're muscle testing, you just will go, it's between 0 and how do you get the numbers?
Yeah, so for this one, I said this is in the hundreds, yes. Thousands, no. Okay.
Okay.
And so then I just test the number. I test the first number is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I go 5, it's not 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4. So it's 4. First number is 4. That means it's 400 something. Then I test the next number, which was also 4. So this is 440 something. It's like zeroing in on the number by testing the largest part of the number, then the next part, next part, next part, next part. So for example, 442.4, if I were to do this again, I would go, the frequency is in the hundreds. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Okay. And the next number is 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next number is 1, 2. And the last one is 0.2. So I do that, and that gives me the frequency.
Okay.
Now, the amplification of 1, it's like however strong the fundamental frequency is, it's quite typical that the harmonics, which are these smaller parts of the string vibrating like on the guitar, okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're the smaller parts of the vibration. It's quite common that the amplitude, the strength of those parts is less than the strength of the fundamental.
Okay.
And so now there can be occasions when it's more, so that instead of it being point something, it would be 1 point something, okay, or even 2 point something if it's really strong. Okay. But typically the fundamental is the strongest part of the wave. Now, what's going to happen is down here, right down here, is going to show all the individual harmonic waveforms. They're all sine waves, okay? Each one in a different color. So it'll show the fundamental as one big sine wave. It'll show the second harmonic as 2 sine waves. The third one is 3, fourth one. And each one will be at a different amplitude according to what we test. So what we need to do is to test for how strong, what's the strength or amplitude of each of the harmonics. So we just leave one as whatever it is. Okay? We don't have to measure it because the body knows what it is. And the body also knows what the second harmonic, which is in music, the harmonics are a series of tones that go la, 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 octave higher, la, la. The next one is la, no, next one is la, 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 la. That's the third harmonic. La is the fourth. La, la, Anyway, it goes up like that. I know what they are, so I can sing them.
That's cool.
So in any case, when you get to each harmonic that's a prime number, like 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, each one has a very unique quality of relationship to the other ones because it's a prime number. It's not divisible by any other number. So this different systems of music in different parts of the world have different prime numbers at the basis of the calculation of the manipulation of it that creates the scale. For example, in the gamelan orchestras in Southeast Asia, they play like they're kind of xylophone-like instruments, and they have 7 and 11 as prime numbers in their music, and it sounds very different than our Western music. Very different. So in any case, what we do is we test for the amplitude of the second, third, fourth, fifth harmonics, and you can see this is 0.4. Now, if you watch the waveform over here on the right, I'm going to change the amplitude and you'll see how it affects the waveform, okay? And so I'm going to just put it just arbitrarily at 0.8. And watch the waveform on the right. See how it changed?
Yeah.
And I can change it back. Okay. Right. So if the next one, which is 0.3, if I make that one 0.9, for example, watch what happens. Big change in the waveform. Okay. So what you do is you test for 0 point something because the harmonic is typically going to be some percentage of the strength of the fundamental. So
Okay.
0.4 would be like 40% as strong.
Okay.
0.3, 30% as strong. 0.5, and so on, right? Now, in the higher harmonics, if I put, for example, this one, the seventh harmonic, if I put that at 0.8, watch what happens to the waveform. Big change. Yeah. If I go back, forward again. Yeah, so you can see when you do this, it makes a big change in the wave. Just like the difference between the flute, the clarinet and the trumpet in that graph I showed. Okay. Each one is going to have a whole different quality to it. And
Now,
go ahead.
So is it going to be important to know how to use the computer enough to show them the waveform?
Well, it's very simple. I mean, all you have to do is muscle test for the point whatever and just go down the list until you've. Now, this thing here says up to, and that means we only need to go up to the 10th harmonic here. That's why I have this blue bar. Right? So we can stop there. If I go higher, which I could do, you can see that has a big change in the wave.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so once you go up to this high as you need, the rest of them can be 0 because we don't want them having any effect on the waveform.
And why stop there at 10?
Because you muscle test that you need to go up to 10 in order to get enough information that the body can really get the waveform.
Okay.
Beyond that, it's like too subtle a difference to matter.
Okay.
So once you get these numbers, and it generates the waveform, and it generates the mirror image of the waveform so you can see how it's going to cancel it. Right? Then it's like a very precise way of telling the body what to do. Body, produce this black line waveform and start it right exactly where this other one starts so that they cancel each other out. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so, so that means you can adjust this blue stopping point. You just copy it. Let's say you're gonna only have to go up to 8. So you go in there, put it there. You get rid of this. Actually, we can clear this. Clear this.
While you do that, I'm gonna text my client back, just to give me a second.
Sure, I'll just wait.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, great. So yeah, if you happen to copy it and paste it into another cell, because let's say you only need to go up to 8 harmonics, then you select the cell that it was in. You come up here to the fill, the little paint can here, and you go no fill, and it gets rid of the color. So now if we only go up to here, and if we make this one 0 and this one 0, you can see the waveform is simpler.
Yeah. And you would only go up to 10 potentially.
No, you could go all the way up to 16. I've got 16 here.
Okay, but typically you find you don't go more than 10.
Well, it varies. I've gone anywhere from 9 to 12 in the ones I've done so far. Now, there's still some slight problem with the spreadsheet. Sometimes in putting these values in, the alignment of these two waveforms goes off. It shifts off.
Oh,
And it starts to look like something like that. Yeah.
like what? I can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back to the screen share. I forget you have to change the screen share thing. Like that.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of off, it's like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very off.
Yeah, it's very off. So anyway, it's fixable, but I don't want people to have to fix it. So I've got the guy who developed the spreadsheet for me, the graphics for me. I've got him working on it being more stable so it doesn't change when you enter anything or change anything. So we'll see.
Okay.
Been working on it for a couple of weeks here, and we're pretty close to having it be truly workable.
I have to go to my client in 10 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
She just got
Oh.
back. And
No problem. So what I'll do is I'll send you a version of this. Yeah, see, here's a version of this being not right. And so if it's not right, you just open the file again, close it, and open it again. Excel. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Anyway,
yeah.
that gives you a start. I'll send you a copy of the spreadsheet.
Okay, and then I can play with it.
Yeah,
and
you
then-
can play around with it, and then you can ask me questions.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, and these numbers here, all of these numbers?
I can't see because it's not on my screen anymore.
Okay, so the numbers for the frequencies above the fundamental are automatically calculated. There's a formula in there that just calculates all of them. So you don't have to worry about those. Those are just, it's okay.
Okay.
All right, great. So go ahead and go with your client. Good luck. Have a good session. And then I'll send you this by email or something, text, and then later you can get a hold of me.
Okay. Email is probably better.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I'll send it by email. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome. See you later.
Okay, don't forget to send the tape to me.
The-
The recording.
The recording, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Bye.
You, bye-bye.